can run with. So, Retirepreneur News Flash #1, and it comes to us from NPR. The headline, Freelanced, the Rise of the Contract Workforce. There was an NPR Marist poll recently, and they found that 20% of jobs in America are held by contractors. We're talking freelancers, we're talking consultants. And experts predict that this freelance workforce will grow to be nearly half the workforce within the next decade. That's great news for retirepreneurs. But you know, the speed and changing needs, businesses need to hire talent like you just in time as they need it. And some people think, oh, people go to freelancing because they can't find a job or they just have to. But here's the interesting news. Surveys show that the majority of freelancers are free agents by choice. Retirepreneur News Flash #2, and it comes to us from the Huffington Post. The headline, it's about Dan Pink and the science of perfect timing. I am a big fan of Dan Pink. His books are amazing. You may remember Drive, or To Sell Is Human, or A Whole New Mind. Fascinating science and research that helps drive business performance improvements. But his latest book is one of my favorites. The title, When? The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing. In this latest book, Dan explores all kinds of research to determine the science or help us better capitalize on the science of timing. When's the best time to ask for a raise? When's the best time to quit your job? And so on and so on. But the chapter where he explores building your ideal workday was really very interesting for me. And he goes through this. There are 3 phases that they have found within most people's workdays. So most of us progress through the day in these 3 stages: a peak, a trough, and a recovery. During the peak, which is usually first thing in the morning, we're better off tackling analytic tasks, those things that require that heads down focus and attention. And then, as you might expect, later in the day, usually after lunch, early afternoon, our brain power starts to dip and our energy dips. That is what he calls the trough. And during the trough, we're better off tackling the more mundane administrative tasks, maybe filtering and managing through email. Now, these 2 first phases, you've probably been aware of these, but it's the 3rd one that surprised me, and it's the recovery. Believe it or not, for most people, later in the afternoon, say 3:30, 4-ish, creativity starts to kick in and we're free. I don't know, it must be something about navigating through our day, but creative thinking for most people is best in that 4 p.m. and later hour of the day. So keep that in mind as you're structuring your own workday. And again, I highly recommend this book, When? The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing by Dan Pink. Retirepreneur News Flash #3 comes to us from Next Avenue, public media's first and only national journalism service for America's booming older population. The headline, From Professor to Pizza Shop Owner. In this article by unretirement expert Chris Farrell, we learn about one man's dramatic career pivot from professor to pizza shop owner. Meet Richard Williams, who at age 51 left behind a tenured job as a university professor to start a pizza restaurant. Williams had been a professor for 25 years. He had job security and he loved both his field and his students. But he felt this increasingly unsettled and unsatisfied feeling. So he invested roughly $300,000, and that's what I love about this article. They walk us through the steps he took to make this pivot. And truly, there were twists and turns and challenges that took him better than a year to navigate through before he was able to open up this pizza shop. But the restaurant has recently opened, customer traffic is good, and here's the best part. The business is on track to earn between $800,000 and $1 million in this first year. I don't know about you, and a restaurant might not be on your path, but it's so encouraging to hear success stories like these. And with that, we'll take a short break, but stick around.